sits on his chair while using magic to pour himself a drink. He lives with his son in the forest far from other humans. In his old age, very little bothers him because through his experiences he has acquired ways to combat stress. This is put to the test when Mash tries to enter the house and pulls the whole door off. This causes the old man to scream. He wants to know why he ripped the doors off their hinges. His son explains that he couldn't remember if it was supposed to push or pull. This excuse confuses the old timer because Mash has been living in the house for years. The young man starts to feel bad about his actions and apologizes, promising to fix it. Bernadette calms down a little when he sees the kid is remorseful, but he starts to panic again when Mash tries to fix the door as he turns to the side and continually bashes it against
This
the
dude is brainless.
breaking the door further. At this point, he has given up, so he pours some tea for both of them to take. He confirms if his son has finished the day's training routine. Mash asks why all of his workouts are physical. Bernadette pauses for a moment before answering. His internal dialogue reveals that Mash is not like ordinary people because he can't use magic at all, so the least he can do is build him up physically. Bernadette doesn't give him an answer and brushes it off as a story for another time. He gets up and tells
This
his
movie
son
anime
that he is
pools
staying for a
endless
little
if you
while,
need
so
anime.
he is trusting him to take care of their crib.
I watch anime. Like we can go through like my anime list of like all the ones I've watching and like want to watch and like haven't such won't watch. Like it's a good variety, but at the same time I feel like it's very limitless because I either can get hyper focused on one anime or I can watch an anime for like one episode and be like completely done with it. It's this anime's a troll. Good to know.
Mash is content with the agreement and has figured out how to fix the door. His father wants him to learn how to open and close it instead. Bernadette seriously reminds him not to venture into the city while he's gone. As soon as his father turns away, he removes a flyer from a bakery advertising a limited edition flavor cream puff. He puts on a cloak and jogs towards the city as he's unable to resist the treats despite his father's stern warning. This guy is an absolute menace. He arrives in the city with his hood up, which allows him to blend in. He looks around and notices that everyone is using magic to the point that they're utilizing it for things that can be easily done with the good old hand. He arrives at the bakery and the smell of the freshly baked goods makes his body tense up with excitement. This causes him to clutch his hands tight. Mash steps forward and places an order for 7 pieces of the limited edition cream puffs. The baker is shocked when he hands over the coins because they are mangled. Mash comments that he got too excited and squashed them in his hand. The baker is sure that they don't bend when someone squeezes them in their hands. The young man apologizes as he straightens them. This feat causes the worker to scream. He calms down after a moment and hands Mash over his orders. A sudden gust of wind removes his hood, revealing his face. Everyone immediately looks at him with worried expressions. They begin to mutter and panic, stating that they don't see a mark on his face. Meanwhile, Brad at Magic Police HQ reads the newspaper, which reports on the year's Divine Visionary. The chosen student is Rain Ames, a second year at Easton Magic Academy. This title is awarded to the pupil who demonstrates the highest degree of excellence over the
So if you have magic, you have marks on your face. This man is cream puffs, yeah.
Looking at it and compares it to his dull life and job. He has someone tied up in a cell. The man pleads for forgiveness, confessing that he only stole something small. His comment just makes Brad angrier because his crime has given him more work. The officer removes his wand in preparation to give him a punishment that will make him regret his crime, but the prisoner is saved by a call. Someone informs Brad that a young man is walking around the city without a mark. Back on the streets, Mash walks around oblivious to what is causing all the commotion as people stare at him. He remembers the warning his dad gave him and apologizes to the vision of his father, but he feels like it was worth making the journey for the Goblin Cream Puffs. His stroll is interrupted when he bumps into policeman Terry. The officer gets riled up that he got some of the fillings on his uniform, but he's at fault because he's woozy. The young man tries to seek forgiveness by offering him a cream puff, but Terry knocks it out of his hand. Perhaps if it was a donut, he might have accepted. As he
If it's a donut, he might have accepted.
his uniform, which shocks everyone. He was intending to wash and return it to the officer. Brad arrives at the scene and quickly makes Terry stand down. He looks over to Mash, who is enjoying his dessert. The officer is confused as to why he's been so casual in such a situation. Before he can fully interact with the unmarked kid, Bernadette swipes his son and dashes off.
Swiped his son and just yeets.
A magic bird to follow the two.
That's a fucking yeets. Like, nope, you're out of here. Grab you by the scruff and drag you away.
As soon as the father and son get home, Bernadette scolds Mash for going into the city despite being warned so many times. The old-timer quickly realizes that his son is regretful about his actions. This quells his anger, but he punishes him by having him repeat that morning's training routine. Mash accepts his dad's judgment, but before he heads to work out, he gives him the cream puffs he bought for him. Bernadette rushes to the door to open it for Mash after remembering what happened earlier on. He really can't stay mad because he knows that Mash is a good kid at heart. Bernadette knows that he's at the age where he wants to go out and explore, but they have been living in isolation to make sure that he's safe. Looking at the situation in town, the father is sure that the magic police have caught wind of Mash and his trait. As he plans his next move, Burndead notices a magic bird perched on a branch looking into the house. Before he can process the information, one side of the home is breached by a unit led by Brad. He smugly greets the old
Ugh.
man and asks about his son's location, all the while Mash heads into the woods and begins to manipulate the weights like they are fake. This time a little squirrel is horrified by what it is seeing. The situation gets more bizarre when he states that he can complete the workout in 5 minutes if he puts his mind to it. He heads back home to eat his favorite dessert. As he approaches, he even sings a song about the food he's about to consume. When he reaches the door, the same predicament strikes again as he wonders if it is a push or a pull. He pauses when he overhears the unit leader talking. At this point, Brad has burned it up and restrained him by the neck. The officer reveals that the reason why magic has flourished since the dawn of recorded history is that they have aggressively rid themselves of those who are not able to use magic. This is a necessary sacrifice to maintain this balance, so he wants to know where his son is. The old-timer remains tight-lipped, causing Brad to throw him around out of frustration. The officer reminds him that it is a serious offense to shelter and unmarked. As he sits there, Burndead thinks about how his whole life he was labeled as a failure in everything he did. This label persisted till his adulthood, and it became unbearable, so one night he went to end it all. However, he paused when he heard baby Mash crying. He noticed that he was abandoned because he was unmarked. When he picked him up, he began to laugh, which touched him dearly, so he decided to raise him as they were both rejected by society. That moment was the first time in his life that he felt like someone needed him. Even though they are not related by blood, he will always be a father to Mash. Burndead begins to shout, instructing his son to run, while Brad tries to shut him up. He orders his men to check into the area for him. He must be close enough to hear the warning. The old man continues to shout even though he's getting beaten. The officer has had enough and charges up a spell to finish off Burndead. Mash comes in hot with a powerful punch through the door, knocking the first subordinate out instantly. Everyone
Skill issue, yeah.
as the raw power he just displayed.
Oh my god.
He stands there, hand still smoking like a rifle after being shot. Terry marches over.
Why is your hand smoking after you hit a door?
A barrage of slaps that knock him out. Mash reveals to Burndead that he didn't run because they are family. He then turns to Brad and declares that he's going to send them to hell. Brad finds this amusing. He doesn't see how Mash can take him down without magic. At this point, Terry has regained consciousness, and the consequences of the slaps are there for all to see. He reveals that the unit leader was on the Bureau of Magic Security Force. The mages in the area can't compare to him, let alone a magicless kid. Brad charges a spell, and his number one fan comments that it is a spell strong enough to drive away a dragon. The officer fires it, but Mash exhibits a flick of the wrist and swats it away like an unwanted booger. Brad can't believe what he is seeing and gets startled for a moment. He quickly regroups and fires
swats it away like an unwanted booger.
Brad is gobsmacked as Mash sends it back to the center same-day delivery. It jets past his head and explodes deeper.
Same-day delivery.
He continues to fire more attacks, but the magicless boy begins to deflect them, inspired by various sports, from volleyball to football, and even juggles some. Mash picks up his father's wand and asks permission to use it. The officer thinks that he's got magic and puts up a barrier, but to his surprise, Mash launches the wand, which shatters the barrier and leaves a little cut on Brad's cheek. He falls to the ground with a look of defeat on his face.
Just eats it.
Such a monster. Brad begins to laugh at this whole situation. He decides to
blood stuck in the wall.
Magic school and become the year's divine visionary. If he gets selected, it means the gods have accepted him, which in turn will lead to society accepting him. Brad wants the fortune and prestige that comes with it as his backer. Burndead tries to dissuade his son from taking the deal, but the officer explains that the only other option is that they will get hunted for the rest of their lives. Mash takes the deal, so with the aid of Brad, he gets a fake mark and is enrolled in magic school to be a
fake mark
without an ounce of magic. He stands in front of the school ready to crush his competition.
Sweet.
The story continues.
Bro, match the fake. Dude.
Pillars of the magic realm. The prospective students gather at one of the open fields for the notoriously difficult entrance examination. Less than 3% of applicants.
The boy.
Meaning only those.
The boy is so much against magic. He has developed anti-magic, like Asta from Black Clover.
With superior magical power are allowed to grace the school halls. Mash stands there with no magical power, looking to make a splash. While the students prepare, Lucci decides to get an early look at the year's applicants. He notes that a few of the candidates are from higher society, which makes him happy given the prestige of the school. But his thoughts are getting distracted by a clanging sound that begins to irritate
True
him.
Harry
Lucci
Water.
scans around to find the culprit, and he's frozen in shock to see Mash lifting such ridiculous weight. He's also confused that someone would be pumping iron just when they are about to start the exam for magic school. Lucci calms himself down and immediately labels Mash as a slacker.
Yeah.
Doing the iconic invisible chair while reading a fitness book. Haters will say he stole the invisible cloak from Harry Potter. Lucci is more offended that he's not reading a magic book. He even notices Burndead and Brad looking the exact opposite of inconspicuous as they try to blend in and keep an eye on the His father is a little skeptical about how his son is going to pass their test without using magic. But the magic officer is confident that his scar will fool everyone as it's indistinguishable from the real one. All Mash has to do is pass the tests. Lucci does not think much of it, but he doesn't expect him to go further. Lucci's voice is projected across the area, welcoming everyone while Mash eats his cream puffs, wondering what kind of test he's going to have to do. He appears stylishly with a burst of flames, which impresses everyone.
Interesting.
He will be overseeing their examination. The students get both intimidated and happy as he's the 7th best up-and-coming mage. They continue to give him
7th best. Okay. okay. He's not top
Mash
3.
a lot of advanced spells. Lucci twitches in excitement, wanting them to praise him more. Mash kills his hype by commenting on his lame entrance. That comment annoys Lucci, who makes the promise to fail him. He announces that the first examination will commence as he makes seats appear from the ground and summons paper and feathers for them to write. The students begin to get excited because they have never seen this type of magic before. Mash acts like a stoplight for the hype train when he points out that he could have just taken them to an already prepared room for the test. This second comment makes Lucci promise to end him for his transgression.
That's true.
He again brushes off Mash's comments because he believes Mash will not last long. The students take a seat at their respective places and are told that they have 30
This
minutes
dude's
to complete
gonna-
the test. They all turn their
Oh.
and are
This is the funny thing. This dude can't open a door. He can't open a door. So they're like, we're gonna fail him by making him use his brain. He's gotta do a written test. Oh my god. He prepared for it. Yes.
surprised to see the questions squirming around the page. Lucci reveals that he has enchanted the papers with magic, so to pass the exam they must dispel the enchantment and line up the questions. Burndead is not confident his son can pull this one off. Even Brad starts to second guess his proposition. Meanwhile, Mash kindly asks the letters to stop moving across the page, but nothing happens, so he snaps his pen in frustration on his second time asking. The words get intimidated and quickly arrange themselves. His people can't believe what they are seeing. He takes his paper to Lucci for his son.
The man literally was there like, no. And the spell's like, you're gonna kill me by ripping up the paper I'm on. Spells do not have thought. They're an incantation. So an incantation got intimidated by a man who broke a pen. He was like, stop it. Words were like, yo, sorry man, we didn't mean to make you confused. Where's heroin though? She can squat. I don't know where the heroin is.
And the examiner is surprised that he managed to complete the task. Mash continues to use his freakish physical capabilities to pass more of the tests, which puts everyone in a state of disbelief. Lucci watches on, frustrated that a slacker like Mash is still around. He thinks of a way to eliminate him and quickly announces the next test. Lucci erects a maze around the students and gives them 30 minutes to reach the goal. Mash feels confident about this one, but he is approached by Lemon, who wants to tag
Hey,
along
it's
with him and
Lemon!
explains that it would be more efficient.
She is so cute! Oh my god! She is so cute. I hope her voice is just as cute.
The logic
Oh
Mash
my
tries to
god.
use. As they navigate, she falls into the majority of the traps, which makes him think twice about teaming up with a useless Lemon. While his guard is down, she apprehends him with
Yes, but he's just as stupid. Come on. Yeah, but he's also dumb. He can't open a door. You gotta admit, they're kind of perfect for each other. An idiot who can't open a door and an airhead that just has jokes flying over their head. Like, it balances. It works.
a handcuff spell.
It'd be more infuriating to have him paired up with a super smart girl. I feel like that'd be more irritating than this. This is just comical.
And reveals that she has been deceiving him. Her true aim is to keep him away from the goal. She is shocked to see him casually break the cuffs and leave because he also has his reasons why he must reach the goal. As she plans her next move, a giant monster asks her a riddle, but she's unable to answer because she's so terrified. She tries to attack with her wand, but the Egyptian monster knocks it out of her hand and counters when her time is up. However, Mash comes to the rescue and knocks it out with a clean punch. She's baffled as to why he came back to save someone who
What
just
did that say?
to attack with her wand, but the Egyptian monster knocks it out of her hand and counters when her time is up. However, Mash comes to the rescue and knocks it out with a clean punch.
Loki, yeah, I'm signed him out with a tattoo of the sexy wig. One Punch Man reincarnated. Mash will be like 3, 2, 1. One punch. Literally One Punch Me.
She's baffled as to why he came back to save someone who just tried to hinder him. Mash explains that he noticed that her reasons were similar to his, so he felt sorry for her. Because of the delay, She expresses that they might not make it to the goal on time. The other students who made it out congregate waiting for the timer to end. Lucci is confident that Mash will not make it given the time remaining. His face changes when they hear loud thuds approaching them, and everyone's jaw drops when they see that Mash has created a shortcut by knocking the walls down. The examiner is especially
There's no rules against breaking down the walls.
And impervious to all magic. Headmaster Wahlberg watches the commotion from his office, and he is intrigued by Mash. The students begin to question the legitimacy of how the two completed the maze, and this leads to them chanting that the duo should be sent home. Mash takes all their criticism head on, but it makes him a little sad, so Lemon shouts for them to stop. She tells them it was her fault, and this prompts Lucci to tell her to shut up and threatens her for good measure. Lemon doesn't heed his warning and continues to confess that Lucci promised her a place at the school if she stopped Mash from getting to the goal. She took the offer because her family is poor, so she wanted to be accepted into the school to open opportunities from that condition. She embellished her encounter with Mash a little, stating that he asked for her hand in marriage, but the guy calmly corrects her. Lucci admits to his actions and even confirms that he doesn't like Mash. The examiner begins to talk down on them and release his magic energy as he asks if they want to challenge his decision. Mash dashes over to him and snaps his wand as he tells the professor that he's gone too far. The rest of the students can't believe what he has just done. His guardians are also taken aback by his boldness. Before Lucci can take further action, the headmaster stops him in his tracks with one shout,
Ah! Voldemort.
while he floats above.
Cannot tell me. You cannot tell me this straight-haired, one-line, top 20 menace, this dude, this fucker right here, would not be Voldemort. If Voldemort worked at the place, I bet you he would do the same thing. And then we just got Dumbledore flying in like, hey bitch, nah. Not working. I'm not talking about the old man, I'm talking about this dude. If you put this in Harry Potter sense, he would totally become, like, Voldemort. That match would bench his ass.
Accepted into the school to open opportunities to remove them from that condition. She embellished her encounter with Mash a little, stating that he asked for her hand in marriage, but the guy calmly corrects her. Lucci admits to his actions and even confirms that he doesn't like Mash. The examiner begins to talk down on him and releases magic energy.
Shave his head and cough his nose. Hey, considering his wand, look, he doesn't even already. Okay, he already looks like he doesn't have a nose. Come on, come on. He already looks like he doesn't have a nose. And I guarantee Mash is gonna hit him at least once, and then he's really not gonna have a nose. Like, he already looks the part. You just have to shave his head.
As he tells the professor that he's gone too far. The rest of the students can't believe what he has just done. His guardians are also taken aback by his boldness. Before Lucci can take further action, the headmaster stops him in his tracks with one shout. While he floats above them, he announces the final interviews will now
Dumbledore, Dumbledore.
Claims he's taking charge of the examination. He asks
trust me. He hits two people and it's funny shit.
Mash as the one to be interviewed, and he appears in a dark room surrounded.
Oh, Mash is first.
And Mash expresses his gratitude to be allowed into the HQ. They ask him
Dumbledore.
and the others are not impressed with his answers, but the headmaster is intrigued by them. He wants to know why he decided to save the girl with the knowledge that he would not have enough time to complete the maze. He simply lets the old-timer know that he feels like he would have regretted it if he didn't do it. The headmaster is amused with that answer and concludes that he must be the type who acts before thinking. Mash never considered that the Sphinx might be stronger, nor did the idea of not being able to break the walls cross his mind. Mash believes that it had to be done even if it was considered. Wahlberg attributes his words to Mash as not understanding the ways of the world yet. Beta Dumbledore
the other headmasters look like identical to people from Harry Potter.
Take the same course of action when he's faced.
This is Harry Potter in anime. Somebody who came up with this idea was watching Harry Potter and like, you know what'd be great? Making this into an anime. And then they watched One Punch Man, you know what? And they were like, you know what? Harry Potter One Punch. It's, dude, I'm loving this. This is gonna become one of my, what is the name of this? Hold on. Magic Magic and Muscles. Oh my god.
With something that overwhelmingly outpowers him. As the headmaster makes this statement, he uses himself as an example and releases a sinister aura before.
Do they? That's pretty cool. Quidditch is pretty nice.
The spell begins to activate as the monster cranks down a this statement, he uses himself as an example and releases a sinister aura before casting an ominous-looking spell. Even the teachers are terrified by the magical power. The spell begins to activate as the monster cranks down a pointed blade tip towards a doll. Mash calmly wants to know what stands before him. Wahlberg explains that it is an ancient spell that transfers the soul of the target's most cherished people into the doll. Burndead suddenly faints to the floor as his soul is transferred. If the knife were to stab into the soul-filled doll, that cherished person will never return to their body. Mash begins to punch the blade trying to stop it, but it
Let's make it
great damage to his hand. The teachers watch in shock as Mash lodges his hands between the blade.
Wait, what did he do?
Doll. That cherished person will never return to their body. Mash begins to punch the blade trying to stop it, but it doesn't move and it causes great damage to his hand. The teachers watch in shock.
Well, he's gonna
as
lose
Mash
his hand.
lodges hands between the blade and the doll, which halts it. Even the headmaster is a little surprised by his actions. The young man states that Wahlberg can't maintain his spell forever, so he has turned this into an endurance contest. The headmaster believes depending on the person, power can be used to harm or help. This is why he emphasizes protecting the weak and regulating the strong, also known as noblesse oblige. From his observation, Wahlberg feels like Mash is a human that possesses that capacity. He deactivates the spell and apologizes as the place is lit up with candles. The old wizard reveals that he was testing him. He has no sinister intention of that nature. Mash accepts his apologies and answers his question of if he was to face the headmaster. The guy simply states that he would beat him down with his fists. Even the bootleg Dumbledore is stunned by that statement.
Bootleg
Dumbledore find his comment to be the highest form
I would
of
just
violence.
beat you up. I love that comment.
He has no sinister intention of that nature. Mash accepts his apologies and answers his question of if he was to face the headmaster. The guy simply states that he would beat him down with his fists. Even the bootleg Dumbledore is stunned by that statement. The other teachers find his comment to be the highest form of insolence, causing them to scold him. The headmaster laughs again and welcomes him to the Easton Magic Academy by offering him a spot. Mash is already a legend in my eyes. All the while, Burndead's soul returns to his body. After a short while, they begin class where they learn the lock opening spell, which is the most basic. The teacher demonstrates, but Mash just opens it with his bare hands. The tutor gets irate that he used brute force to break the lock, which did not open. She reminds him that he's here to learn magic. She is shocked when Mash explains that he's not good with magic. Finn sits next to him and already sees Mash as a troublemaker and knows to keep his distance. Meanwhile,
Troublemaker.
peek into the class with a sinister look as they smile. Later on, Finn looks for his dorm hoping that he's not staying together with Mash. He reaches his place of stay.
Finn
and is surprised
seems
that
so
there's no
cute,
door.
though.
He turns and sees he is rooming with Mash, who is holding the door. This is not his ideal situation. The two introduce themselves and Mash just warns him that he might cause trouble because he doesn't understand how things work yet. He changes into his workout gear and begins to introduce his muscles, which Finn finds strange. Now that the ice is broken, he asks how to become the Divine Visionary. Finn explains that one has to collect gold coins by excelling in tests, coursework, extracurricular activities, and school life. Silver and bronze are awarded for lesser performances. No matter how many gold coins one collects, if
Mash-
kept up each semester,
Dude. Mash is the incarnation of what I did to my friend's Sim. So my friend made a complete bitch on Sims 4. Named her Mackenzie. And I'm like, nah, this bitch doesn't deserve doors. So I talked my friend into making sure her house has no doors in it. Like, her front door is just an arch. She has no doors in her entire house. And it's great. Because fuck doors. I relate with Mash so much. Fuck doors. Said so in my 18-minute rant about Minecraft doors.
one will be suspended. After hearing this, Mash holds his head and collects. If grades are not kept up each semester, one will be suspended. After hearing this, Mash holds his head in despair, but he snaps out of the mindset quickly and offers Finn a cream puff to cement their friendship. Things continue with Mash eating cream puffs.
Rip
in his
to all
dorm
doors,
while
yeah.
His roommate does some studying. He interrupts Finn to ask if he could lend him his broom for his class the following day. The guy brought a giant plant root thinking it was a broom, which surprises Finn. Finn concedes and agrees to allow him to borrow it. Mash expresses his gratitude, commenting that he knew that his roommate was a great guy. The following day, the students gather in an open space where the tutor introduces the broom riding lesson. She explains that one must channel magic energy into the broom and command it with the cue word
Mash,
fly.
yeah.
The next step is
No
to channel the
doors.
broom and regulate the magic to keep it afloat. She instructs them to begin immediately. The students begin to command their brooms one at a time. I am interested
Harry
to see
Potter?
how Mash is going to get away with this one. Before he begins, he reaffirms the reason why he must succeed before he commands his broom to fly, but nothing happens because of his lack of magic power. As he stands there unable to lift his broom, a student begins to mock him for not being able to complete the task and comments on how he's slowing down the rest of the class. Mash responds by lifting the broom with a stamp of his foot, but he delays his fly command. The student watches gobsmacked for a moment before calling Mash out on the cap of his lift. He calls him a cheater, noting that his broom flew up before he commanded it, but the magicless guy behaves oblivious to his comments. Their interaction is interrupted when the teacher announces time trials that will be held to determine who the fastest student is. The student decides to use it as an opportunity to wager against Mash. The loser has to submit to the winner till they graduate. Mash agrees, so they line up prepared to race as the tutor stands ready to get the thing started. The student is very confident that he will win because, unlike the transfers, he has been riding brooms since middle school. The tutor
I just imagine, before we watch the rest of this, I just imagine Mash sticking the broom between his legs and just running. That's what I imagine him doing. It's just full on running.
Recognizes Mash as the class clown that interrupted the lesson with his OP strength. Based on his past performance, she doesn't think that he can even ride a broom. As soon as she begins the race, Mash already dashes to the end. The student is left gobsmacked again at what he just witnessed.
No, he just throws her jumps. No, he just dashed in like a blink of an eye. This man's Superman. Superman without the flying.
Multiple times that a new world record has been set. His classmates are confused about what just happened. Finn internally reveals that he got a good look at what Mash just did. As soon as the teacher said start, the guy launched the broom and immediately dashed toward it at high speed. Mash turned into a physicist and used the air resistance to decrease his approach, which also gave him the chance of closing the gap and mounting on the broom midair. Finn can't even fathom how that's even possible. All the while, the arrogant student runs over to Mash, adamant that he must have cheated, refusing to believe what he just witnessed. Mash only comments that he feels bad for him as he can't face the fact that he lost. He even adds insult to injury by telling him that he will drop the wager out of pity. Just before the arrogant student can run his mouth, it suddenly gets sewed shut by Cabell, who comments that he shouldn't make a scene.
I love that he can fly and he got on his broom and then runs so fast he flies. I love that somebody's just sewing this man's mouth shut.
With a fake smile, he apologizes on his behalf for his rudeness, revealing that the arrogant student is his friend. The other students watch on, worried at the fact that Cabell is talking to Mash, and they comment that he's a target now. They all agree to stay out of it as they don't want any trouble, but they feel bad for Mash as he is Cabell's first victim now that they have moved to high school. The bootleg Draco Malfoy admits that the feat he just performed caught his attention.
Bootleg Malfoy.
Cabell introduces himself and Mash completely butchers his name to the point most would take it as an insult. The whole class falls silent after hearing that name butchering. Cabell tries to hide his frustration and prepares to cast a spell. However, the teacher stops and interjects, reminding him that they are in the middle of a class. Wish Malfoy finds Mash funny and suggests that they meet again at their current location after school. The magicless student agrees. After the lesson, Cabell pulls the arrogant student to a secluded place and begins to beat him for losing in such a spectacular fashion. Meanwhile, the roommates walk the corridors when Mash wants to know more about Cabell.
Wish Malfoy, yeah. Ironically enough, he has the scarf, he has the hair, he has the creepy smile, he has everything that matches.
Everyone is afraid of him because his father is a high-ranking member of the Bureau of Magic, and the organization is absolute in their world. Mash gives shifty eyes as he states that he knew that when he was oblivious to the fact. Finn simplifies it by saying that once someone stands against him, they would get expelled. The vice principal of the academy has close ties with the bully's family. This malicious duo has tormented countless students, which is why everyone obeys and fears the guy. After school, Mash bakes cream puffs, as making them from scratch once in a while is fun, but he feels like he's forgetting something important.
So cute!
Because Cabell and his lackeys are waiting for him, and the guy is irate that he has not shown up yet. The following day, Mash removes his books in preparation for the next class.
We're gonna get next. Wish name.
Cabell's lackeys watch on laughing since they know there is something more sinister going on. Their boss comes to confront Mash about not attending their meeting the previous day. He realizes that was his hunch and apologizes, explaining that he was making cream puffs, which enrages Cabell, but he changes the topic as he has caught wind that Mash is aiming to be the divine visionary. He uses his close relationship with the vice principal to promise him a favorable word. All Mash has to do is follow his orders, so the magicless guy quickly agrees to the terms and conditions without reading the fine prints, but he does find it strange that such a deal has come all of a sudden. Cabell informs him that he just wants to help him out because he seems like a fun person. He has Mash hold their items, polishing his shoes among other things. He gets back to his next lesson and finds that that book was destroyed again. He asks Finn if he can share and imposes himself even though the guy is reluctant. Mash thanks him again for all his help and even gives him some cream puffs to show.
Reminds me of the short guy from Lorax, yeah.
How lucky he is to have a great guy like him as a friend. Later on, Mash gets a drink for Cabell, but he deliberately pours it on the floor and asks him to clean it, which he does to a high level. During that interim, it is revealed that it was Finn, under the orders of Cabell, who was destroying his books. They want him to take things a step further and burn his clothes, but the kind words Mash spoke to him earlier gives Finn the courage to refuse. Cabell wastes no time and activates his thread spell that pins Finn to the ground. The boss informs him that he has made a mistake, which is why he must drop down and beg for forgiveness. All the while, Mash looks for Finn when he realizes that he still has his book. The magicless student hears the sound of someone getting beaten up and goes to check it out. He arrives to find Finn on the ground bleeding. Cavil tells Mash that he is only getting an apology from the guy. Mash makes his way over to Finn to make sure that he's okay, but Finn doesn't care about his current state. He begins to cry, confessing that it was him that destroyed his books under the orders of Cavil. Mash calling him a friend hit him deeply, so he is compelled to apologize to him. Cavil tries to manipulate Mash by informing him that he is heading to meet with the vice principal and drops him an invite proclaiming that it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Mash just walks up to him and bounces his head off the floor, knocking him out instantly. He instructs Cavil that he is the one who needs to apologize. The bully's lackeys are shocked by what Mash just did, giving the status of Cavil. Finn tells him that his actions will get him expelled. After rethinking everything, he realizes that what he has just done may land him in some hot water. Vice Principal Farman appears out of nowhere and agrees with Mash's statement. He reveals that Cavil's father has entrusted him to look after his son. He witnessed the entire incident. Mash is happy to hear this because that means his name will be cleared. But to his shock, Farman plans to twist the situation to make Mash look like the aggressor, and even tells them that a school conference will be held regarding their roles in this incident. The vice principal begins to explain that Cavil is of a higher status, which means he gets different treatment. Before he can finish his explanation, Mash makes his situation worse by
he just roundhouse kicks the fucking vice principal. What?
And the lackeys
honestly, it's sad because Mash is magicless, maidenless. Yeah.
So while he's already in hot water for his first attack, this second one wouldn't make a big difference in his current standing, which is a fair point. Farman holds his face as he complains that Mash just assaulted him. He informs him that he can expel ordinary students like him at any time. He tries to attack the magicless student, but he counters by slapping mud in his face. Mash begins to dig, and he places the vice inside before covering it. Mash threatens him that he can be buried alive at any time. Even if he's apprehended, he will find him and bury him. The vice pleads for him to stop as he throws mud to cover him up.
Man grew 6 arms.
Wahlberg reads his transgressions.
The man grew 6 arms burying this dude. He pulled a Luffy.
Throws mud to cover him up. Later on,
just buries him, yeah.
Wahlberg reads his transgressions and informs him that this incident is seen as a problem at the Bureau of Magic. He received a notice from them to expel him immediately. The headmaster states that the Bureau is the country's highest legal authority. He will even go as far as to say that they control the country. At the core of the organization are the Divine Visionaries. The Academy furnishes the Bureau with those who attain the top honors at the Academy.
No, Barry.
What he has done is unforgivable, but what Wahlberg finds more egregious is a world where the caring is at a disadvantage. As he burns the Bureau's notice, he discloses his concern about the current state of things in the world. This was the main reason he took the position as headmaster of the Academy years ago. He sees that at the top, things only work to serve the elites. He acknowledges that there are so few people like Mash who sacrifice themselves for what is right. The Divine Visionaries who lead the Bureau have their role to carefully consider what people desire, which is why he hopes that someday Mash will become a Divine Visionary. He tells the headmaster that he already plans to become one, so the old guy is happy to hear this. Mash gets information overload when he tries to explain how to achieve that goal, so he simplifies it, stating that he should earn high marks in his classes and school activities and acquire as many coins as possible. Wahlberg promises to deal with the Bureau and the vice principal. This will lead Mash to concentrate on achieving his goal. As the student leaves, Wahlberg sees one more problem that Mash will eventually face, but he has faith that he will overcome it. Mash makes his way back to his dorm where Finn waits. He ended up with no punishment. However,
yeah, there's so few people like Mash who will beat the shit out of everyone and destroy doors. Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me show you, like, the picture they picked for this anime. By the way, this recap is like 40 minutes. I'm sorry, but we're watching like all 40 minutes of it. His roommate looks so spooky in this one. While Letman's just there like, leave me alone. I have no clue who these two are yet. But they're all just like vibing with freaking Dully here, Doflamingo, and like the ghosty dude. Like it's they decided to mix all the good things in life, put them together into one anime, and just drop it at Munch's door and be there like, hey Munch, here's a gift for you. Everything you love is right here. Mash really, like, I beat the shit out of everyone, destroyed doors, were guys, like it's Green Moms. Yeah. Oh my god! Hi! We are doing absolutely nothing. So, thank you so much for the raid. We are literally doing Nothing.
What a game. What a game. What a game.
Ah, you sound so cute. Oh my god. Oh my god, you sound so cute. Hold on, I'm giving you a follow because I love your voice. So, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. We're doing a deep dive on Mr. Mist here, okay? We're getting completely sidetracked, and this is what we're gonna be doing. What else do we have here? Now, I've never played a day of Valorant in my life.
Oh my god. That's not Kyle.
What? That's not Kyle.
Mr. Mist.
It is
Yep.
not Kyle.
Mr. Mist.
I told you it's my turn to be the pocket sage.
30 jet.
Lamp, 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 heaven, lamp in heaven. What now?
I like a good voice. Okay. More so if it's a soothing one. So I can just have it on in the background and just vibe out. Everybody I watch Chris is streaming. Okay. We'll drop by Chris's stream after this. Okay, good. I am following you. Did I follow you before? Or did I just follow you? I don't remember. Very soothing. Well, I guess I'm Shavlik. What my card do you stream? I love that clip. Oh. I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Hold on. Unfollow. Refollow. Okay, now I know for a fact I followed you. You followed me like yesterday? Oh, well, you got followed again. Get double followed. I'm gonna go back to playing this lane. No! Right card! We're jumping in on Chris's stream.
No you! No you, Munch! No you! I want you too!
That aggressive, I loves you.
Up, here we go!
Okay. Okay. I can't. They're playing copyrighted music. Yes. I just know. The homies are real. It's an archer! It's a wild archer! Guys. I don't think I can really lie to Chris, because they were in here earlier. help me since I start tingling.
Up, here we go.
Go. Bum, bum, mm,
Night call. Trusty,
mm,
music today.
mm.
Poor JD. He's just doing his job. Also, thank you for the request, Batman. Fucking love that song. Oh yeah.
Alright. I make it a point to like try and make it to all of JD's and like Chris's streams. So I'm gonna have their stream up and on my phone. Add, yeah. Open. Okay. E. Ah. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Ah. Ooh, ah. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
From the other students. The following day, he is recruited to play Duello by Tom despite enlightening him that he can't ride a broom. The day of the match arrives, and the crowd goes wild. All the players float on their broomsticks as they play the game. Mash tells them that he can't fly, so they start to heckle him by throwing things at him. The game of Duello continues as the Lang dorm dominates. All Mash can do is watch from the ground due to his inability to use magic. Given the situation, he wishes he was home relaxing instead. Meanwhile in the crowd, Lemon and Finn watch on worried that Mash hasn't taken to the air yet. The team captain Tom comes down to give him a pep talk. He states that Mash swore he could be number one, which he denies ever saying. Tom advises him not to be complacent and makes him
You could be number one. I never said I wanted to be number one. But you could be number one. I don't want to be number one.
to bamboo, which just confuses Mash. He even begins. Tom advises him not to be complacent and makes an analogy to bamboo, which just confuses Mash. He even begins to speculate that the captain might be high on the hush-hush based on his nonsensical comments. Tom forgot to tell him the rules of the Quidditch clone. To be honest, this game is borderline copyright infringement. JK should lawyer up. Both teams fight for control.
This is borderline copy infringement. Oh my god. Simple solution. Well, actually, she can't really lawyer up on this. Because the game she made is an alteration of an old, Irish game. So she can't really lawyer up on it because it's not originally her idea.
Of the ball midair and score points by passing it through the opposition's ring. The use of magic is forbidden as the sport emphasizes on broom technique. While he explains, the Langdorm continue to score more points. Tom is passionate about the Duello as he always puts everything into each game. He recruits
It's so wild!
He gets back on his broom.
Hi, Nebula!
Joins them soon. As he floats like a butterfly, the captain from the other team intentionally comes in like a bee sting and crashes into Tom, causing him to fall badly. The fangirls of Tom begin to let out a worried scream. The aggressor sarcastically apologizes and says that it was an accident. Mash rushes over to make sure that he's fine, but Tom tells him that his hand is broken. Langdorm scores another goal.
You just know your hand's broken?
Tom calls out the opposition's sense of sportsmanship, but they laugh at his cry and call it nonsense. For them, all that matters
I'm
is
just a
that
natural
the
born
captain
Slytherin.
finds the situation amusing with him being down by
I'm a
7 points
Gryffindor.
margin. Given the time, he knows they can't catch up. Despite his dismal situation, Tom tells Mash that winning isn't everything, as one's effort and commitment is more important. The lead just keeps getting worse. The opposition is confident that they have this win secured given the margin and the time left, and not to mention the fact that 2 of their team members are down. But little do they know that they have annoyed Mash. The guy picks up the broomstick and grabs it tightly in a frustrated manner. He does things his way and leaps into the air to everyone's surprise, but someone points out that he stopped in midair. Upon closer inspection, the students figure out he's maintaining his elevation with rapid foot kicks, which just leaves them
He's staying in the air by rapid foot. Have a good look, Carrie. We'll probably be up when you wake up. Oh my god. Stay by basically swimming in air. Don't you?
He's faced with the the other team who rush to take the ball from him. However, they get a rude awakening when Mash hurls the ball from a distance that jets past the opposition and into the ring, scoring his
Man,
first
Senpai all
point.
yeah.
Shot, but they still specify that the limited time and the points gap are an unfavorable situation. A keen spectator notices the ball's trajectory as it comes back to Mash like a boomerang. They scream collectively in disbelief. He uses his unnaturally strong fingers to curve the ball in such a manner that he just continues to spam the shot like that one cousin who spam moves in a fighting game, and within no time,
One cousin that's spam. Spam moves in fucking game. I'm loving this narrator so much. Oh my god.
passes Langsdorff's score but continues till he sets a new all-time record. Lemon watches with heart.
I just realized I'm watching this on my personal account. Hold on. Oh my god. Just spamming moves. Oh. And the reaction of it. Oh my god. I gotta pull this back up now.
In the Magic Realm.
Okay. I gotta go back.
Tom calls out the opposition's new mindset, knows they can commit Mergen and Mash there to figure out even ball. He's fixed that jets past the opposition and into the ring, scoring his team a point. Everyone is amazed by the shot, but they still specify that the limited time and the points gap are an unfavorable situation. A keen spectator notices the ball's trajectory as it comes back to Mash like a boomerang. They scream collectively. He uses his unnaturally strong fingers to curve the ball in such a manner that he just continues to spam the shot like that.
You do be good with balls.
In a fighting game, and within no time,
Just spam. Just spam moves and fighting games with Gotham.
Continues till he sets a new all-time record. Lemon watches with.
What's even funnier? It's just you can see the trajectory. It goes in and out.
As the announcer declares Adler Dorm as the winner of the first duello match of the season. The crowd go wild, and they begin to apologize to MASH for their earlier heckling. Due to their record-setting score, the team were given silver coins. MASH inspects it, wondering why the shape is so odd. Finn is still impressed by how amazing that game was, and is dazzled by how
What's having a silver coin? What?
Reward, despite the fact that he has only just transferred. He is grateful for the admiration, but he doesn't think he will be playing the game again. Tom interrupts them with a call, and as he walks towards them, the girls start going wild. As he approaches, Finn thinks that he's coming to cause beef. However, it's the exact opposite as he hugs MASH while crying and thanks him for the clutch win. Later on, the Magicless student's achievement is pasted in the newspaper, which Lance reads. He recognizes MASH from the entrance exam and destroys his picture as he recalls that he risked failing for a stranger. He labels him a naive student while opening his locks before
What? Who is the silver-haired dude? Because in here, you see him by him, so he's one of his 4 friends. Yeah, I got silver coin for Define Physics. He not hiding yet. Just to like throw every scientific possibility we know out the window.
Picking him as his next target. The following day, MASH sits in class as Tom tries to get him to come to practice, while Lemon attempts to get closer to him by offering to study all their classes as she holds a tower of books, but MASH is not interested in engaging in any of them. Finn doesn't want to be roped in, so he pretends to be sleeping. Lance comes in and interjects, expressing his wish to join the fun. Tom immediately notices his double marks and speculates that he's a first year since he has never seen him before. Lemon is aware of Lance and points out that he ranked first in the entrance exams. She comments on how cute he is now that she's seen him up close. However, she stops her trail of thought because she has given her heart to MASH. The Magicless
Gave your heart to MASH.
So Lance suggests that they change that. MASH gets up interested, asking if they're playing hide and seek. The top rank pulls out a bottle from his robe, pointing out that it is a special magic tool that is ancient. He opens the lid, which shrinks Tom, Lemon, and Finn.
Yeah, the silver-haired dude.
He reveals that
The silver-haired dude do be kind of good looking. I agree. Mash trying to stay maidenless. Yeah. Mash be like, nah, I got cream puff. Yeah. Mash is gonna end up being the person that's gonna like go marry like his kitchen so he can make unlimited cream puffs all the time. If you want to get to Mash's heart, just supply him with cream puffs.
that he is capable of trapping
She's mushroom heads on people too, yes.
informs Mash that if he wants them back, he must come to the forest and then disappears. The two later meet at the designated place, and Mash wants to know what all of this is about. Lance points out that he wants them to bet because just like Mash, he too is collecting the coins. He has 2 silvers at the moment, which shocks Tom, who makes it known that it is only a select number of upperclassmen that have them. It is revealed that line marks indicate the amount of magic power one possesses. Lance has 2, meaning he's really bad news. The majority of people are known
Meaning
as
he's
double
really
line
bad
magic
news.
users. However, there are rare exceptions with multiple marks known as double-line magic users. They exist in the world at a rate of 1 in 100,000. These people are looked at as chosen by magic itself. Lance states that they will bet each other's silver coin in a match. They will fight until one can no longer continue or gives up. We learn that any other format of dueling is prohibited in the school.
Woman could
Since Lance's
win
friends
Mash's
think
higher.
it's
She
wrong,
knew. Yeah.
Mash doesn't have a choice but to accept. He points out that he has a huge advantage just by having the bottle, as he knows about his selfless personality. But resting bitch face number 2 knows that he doesn't need this advantage to win. Lance points out that he was too soft by helping Lemon during the entrance exams. He is disgusted that he prioritized someone else over his own goals. Tom and Lemon advise Mash not to take the fight. The magicless student has had enough of the long talk and wants to start the fight. Lance showcases his power by clearing the land using a gravity spell. The clearing can be felt by Burndead and Brad, who are lurking about, still trying to keep an eye on Mash. The officer expresses his worry, which catches Burndead's attention, but he quickly explains that he is worried about his profits. Back to the fight, Lance has cleared the place leading concentric rings. Mash comments on the flashness of the performance, calling it unnecessary. Mash dashes towards him, which confuses the number 1, who feels like it's a bit disrespectful to try and win against him without magic. He pins him to the floor with his gravity spell and begins to talk down to Mash, stating that he has no aspirations, so he doesn't deserve the silver coin. Lance, on the other hand, is certain that he will be the one who will finish on top. Mash tries to stand, but is unable to, as the number 1 states that no human can withstand his gravity. The magicless student plunges his hand into the ground and rips out a root which destabilizes the ground around Lance's feet, causing him to retreat. He lands in a lower position as Mash stands up, looking down at him, asking if he too likes rolling on the ground. Mash wastes no time and dashes towards him again. Lance uses
Hey, do you like rolling on the ground like a dog?
his speed and escapes the area of effect and swings, but his target dodges. Lance notices that he's faster than earlier. As he retreats, he drops his locket, which lands near Mash. The guy opens it and finds a picture of Lance's younger sister. He confesses that he is overprotective of her. Mash returns it to him, and Lance asks him what the most precious thing in the world is. He feels like he has been put on the spot, but he answers saying that cream puff, human life, love, and freedom are precious to him, but Lance thinks his answers are all wrong. Mash turns the question to him, and with a crazed look in his eyes, he states that it's his sister. The magicless student points out that his answer proves that everyone has different priorities, but Lance thinks his answers are all wrong. Mash
All
turns the
wrong.
question to him, and with a crazed
Okay, Mash's ideals make sense. Food, taking care of other people, taking care of yourself. Perfect ideals. This man's ideals like, I have a sister complex, so it's just my sister. That's kind of creepy. I understand having sister complexes. I understand having brother complexes. But that is not your whole life. Let them live theirs.
look in his eyes, he states that it's his sister. The
Mash could
magicless
easily,
student
yeah,
points
he
out
could
that
easily
his
stand up
answer
and defy
proves that
physics.
everyone has different priorities, but Lance is disgusted and feels like the world is full of idiots because, objectively speaking, his sister is the most important. Mash just finds him creepy. The guy casually walks over to the edge of a cliff and dangles the bottle with Mash's friends inside. Lance explains that he's going to drop the bottle off the cliff
Lollyfish,
and
yeah.
speed up the fall using his magic. When Mash tries to save them, he will be open for a finishing attack. Lance explains that for the sake of his sister, he can turn into the worst monster. He has a flashback that explains his motivations. His sister became ill with an incurable disease that will strip her mark and magical power in the next 5 years. When that happens, they will have to hand her over to the authorities, who will exterminate her, as the genetics for non-magic users can't contaminate the gene pool. Lance promises to become a divine visionary so he can
Yeah.
use the Bureau of Magic to change
Okay,
the
that
world.
makes sense.
His current action is to save his sister by any means necessary. He drops the bottle and activates his spell. As it jets down, he turns to Mash and is surprised to see that the guy has changed.
I feel like you would let me bench press you, Munch. That got me with that. Okay, here, hold on. Hold on. Gotta get serious. White card? Come close. Come close, okay? Okay. Listen closely, okay? I'm a fat bitch. Okay? If you want to try and bench press me, go for it. If you can, more props to you. But I am fat. I weigh a lot. Okay? So good luck. I weigh 213 pounds. Almost 220. It depends on how much I eat the day. Hey, Sunny.
into his gym gear. The magicless guy warms up and enters sprinter's start position. He activates hamstring magic.
Oh, I mean.